All right, guys, let's go through this practice test while you're in class today. Hope you're working hard. Here we go. 225 to radians. All you do to turn degrees to radians is you divide by 180. Put a pi with your answer. So if you'll just punch your calculator 225, or just reduce that fraction. That fraction should be 5/4. Put the pi on the top. 5 pi over 4. Should be good enough there. Number 2, convert it to degrees. Remember, pi is really 180 degrees, so you just plug the 180 in where the pi is, like that, and you should end up with, punch that in your calculator, you should get 240 degrees. Number 3 says find one positive and one negative angle that is coterminal. Remember, coterminal means it's located at the same location, but has a different measure. So with degrees, you just add 360. So I'm going to do 56 plus 360 degrees, and this should give me, it looks like about 416 degrees. That's a positive one. And to find the negative one, I'm just going to subtract 360. And if I subtract 360, I'm getting negative 304 degrees. That's all you got to do on these. So on the next one, again, to get the positive one, you can add 360. And if you do 630 and 360, I'm pretty sure that's giving you 990 degrees. Now, the problem with this second one is, to get down to a negative one, because you remember one's got to be negative. If I subtract 360 from 630, I'm punching my calculator real quick. I'm getting 270. That's not negative. So I got to subtract 360 one more time. And I believe that's going to give me negative 90, which is what I wanted. So the two answers for B, 990 and negative 90. Number 4 says let negative 815 be a point on the terminal side of an angle theta in standard position. Evaluate the 6 trig functions. Now, you can't do this unless you find R. Remember, we talked about R in class the other day. So R is the square root of x squared plus y squared. X squared is going to be 64. Y squared is going to be 225. So that's going to give me the square root of 289, which, by the way, is 17. So that's my R. Now we're going to go to sine. Remember, sine is y over r. So I'm going to go to 15 over 17. Cosine is x over r, negative 8 over 17. Tangent, y over x, 15 over negative 8. Cosecant is reciprocal of sine. So I'm just going to flip the sine answer right there. Secant's reciprocal of cosine. So just do reciprocal there. And cotangent's reciprocal of tangent. And there's your answers. That's not too bad. Number 5 says find the unit, use the unit circle to evaluate the 6 trig functions. Remember, on the unit circle, sine is y, cosine is x, tangent's y over x. Then you just do reciprocal. So find 270 in a unit circle, and the point that it corresponds to 270 degrees should be 0 and negative 1. Okay, so the sine is going to be negative 1. The cosine is going to be 0, because remember, sine is y, cosine is x. Tangent's y over x, and because you can't do negative 1 divided by 0, that's going to be undefined. Cosecant is reciprocal of sine. Reciprocal of negative 1 is negative 1. Secant's reciprocal of cosine. Because you can't take the reciprocal of 0, you can't flip 0, it's undefined. Cotangent. Now, tangent was really negative 1 over 0, which means cotangent's 0 over negative 1, which is just 0. Okay, so be careful there. Number 6, find the reference angle. The reference angle is how far away from the x-axis are you, the closest x-axis. Well, remember, your x-axis has 0 and 180. So if I go to 150, 150 is getting close to 180. The question is how close? And the answer is 30 degrees close. So your reference angle is 30 degrees. When you have radians, remember we talked about if it's a pi over 3 or pi over 4 or pi over 6, you can just drop the top. So that reference angle is going to be pi over 6. All you can do is drop the top. Okay, number 7, evaluate 240 degrees without a calculator. You can use your unit circle if you need to, I guess. So find it. Remember, cosine is the x-coordinate. And if you find the x-coordinate at 240 degrees, you should see 1/2. Actually, you should see negative 1/2. And 8 through 10 are doing the values backwards. So this is saying, where is sine square root of 3 over 2? And you look in quadrant 1, and you should see that happens at pi over 3. Remember, it's asking you where is y square root of 3 over 2. Same thing here. This is saying where is sine 3/2? Nowhere. Sine or cosine cannot be bigger than 1. There'll be one of those in your test tomorrow, just saying. So anything bigger than 1, you cannot do sine or cosine. And the last one says where is cosine 1/2? Cosine is 1/2. Find the first quadrant. It's at pi over 3. And there you have it. Anything else on this page? Nope. Second page. Number 11 solve the equation. So it's asking you where is sine negative 0.23. So you need to take your calculator and hit second sign, okay, or this button. It should be sine negative 1. And when you hit that button, just type in negative 0.23. And let's see what it gives you. Oh, by the way, before you do that, make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Okay, I just punched that one in and I got negative 13.29 or negative 13.3 degrees. Now, that's kind of the correct answer, but remember, if you're doing inverse sine, your answer has to be between negative pi over 2 and positive pi. Well, put it this way. Your answer's got to be between 270 and 360, which is the fourth quadrant. But you know what? Negative 13.3 isn't the fourth quadrant. So the question is, how far away from 360 is it? It's 13.3 away. So really, if I just add 360 to that number, it's going to give me my answer in the fourth quadrant, which is I'm going to about to go all the way around. So I'm doing 13.3 times 3 plus 360. I'm getting 370. That's too big, sorry. You're getting trying to do this in my head, 346.7 degrees. And there's your answer for that one. May want to watch that one again to make sure you got that. Inverse sine, make sure you're in degree mode. Your calculator would tell you this, but you got to translate that to between 270 and 360, meaning quadrant 4. This angle's in quadrant 4, but we got to make it positive. So I just added 360 to stay in quadrant 4, because adding 360 takes it around the whole circle. All right, number 12, we'll get to the review stuff now. Got to find the LCD. All right, I have a 7 and a 3x. 3 and 7 going to 21, and then you got the x. So I'm doing this. I'm looking at that denominator. What does it need to become 21x? Well, it has the x, it has a 7, it just needs a 3. So I'm going to do 3 times 5. That's 15. Look at this denominator. It's got a 3. It needs a 7 to get to 21 and also needs the x. So multiply the 2 times 7x, and that gives me 14x. And guys, that's it. You cannot add this stuff in the numerator, so that's all you can do. 13, what would the vertical and horizontal asymptotes be? Vertical, remember, vertical asymptote is whatever makes the bottom 0. So I'm going to say x equals negative 2 because that makes the denominator 0. Horizontal, we got the 3 rules. Remember, if the degree is big on the top, there's not one. If the degrees are the same, you do leading over leading, which, by the way, that's what this is. They're both x to the first power. So I'm going to do leading over leading, which is 3 over 1, which is just 3. That's all you do there. Okay, and 14, the last one, condensed into a single logarithm. The numbers in the front are the exponents. I'm going to take care of that first. So that's really 3 cubed, which is 27. That 2 in front of the second one makes the parentheses x plus 5 squared, and then the 3 in front of the last one is just y cubed. Now, here's what you need to know about combining logs. If they are added together, they are multiplied. If they have a minus sign in the front, they're divided. So it's going to be this log times that log divided by that log, except you're going to make it one log. It says a single log, so put a great big ln. In my numerator, I'm going to have 27 times x plus 5 squared. You don't need to work that out. All over y cubed. Again, if it's addition, they go in your numerator. If it's subtraction, they go in your denominator. And make it one log. Don't write 3 logs in your answer. Just one single log. I hope that helps you. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll review just a couple minutes before your test. Come see me in the morning before school if you need to. Help you as much as you need. See you then.